Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be talking about my vision board. So I made one of these at the beginning of the year. I will link that video down below if you're interested. Basically, I just made it and I talked about the stuff that I put on it and the stuff that I didn't put on there, and it's just go watch the video if you're interested. Basically, a vision board is where it's like a piece of paper, or even like my parents have one. They just write it on. They have like a chalkboard wall in the kitchen and they write theirs on there. So, I mean, if you, like, have your own place, you can do that, but, you know. But I just put mine on this, and some people do it on a poster, too. I actually got the idea from, I mean, I've seen it done before, but I got the idea specifically from Marlena from Makeup Geek. On her YouTube, she did a vision board, and she said it really helped, like, it kept her on track, and, like, a lot of the stuff she put on it actually came to fruition, so. So here is the thing, if you did not see the last video. So, yeah, there's a few, I printed out a couple pictures on here, and then I put some stickers from my planner, because they're, like, motivational type, you know. And so the first thing on the top is a car. This is the Dodge Challenger. That was, like, my favorite car. Like, I still don't really like them. However, now, this is, like, I just totally threw a wrench in this whole thing because, so basically laying out my long-term goal, hopefully not long-term, like shortish long-term goal, is to, well, originally was to buy an RV and live in that full-time, which I don't think is going to be possible because I'm a pack rat. That's one of my things, is, like, being over-prepared. And I have something for everything. So I have so much stuff, and I like stuff that I don't want to get rid of. Like, within reason, I don't keep, like, junk laying around, but, you know. Like, my yarn, if you don't know, I crochet and I sell my stuff. So I have yarn, like stuff that I haven't touched in forever because I might need it someday when I could just, like, sell it or make something with it and get rid of it. But, so basically now, like, in the present time that I'm filming this, the beginning of September 2018, I am planning on first paying off a huge chunk, if not all, of my debt, because I did make a video about that too. I'll link that below, but basically I have about $11,000 worth of debt, which is not that much in comparison to some people, but still is a lot for me, and I shouldn't have it because it was a dumb idea to even charge that much. And anyways, so I want to pay that down, or pay that off, or at least pay it down some to where it's manageable, and it brings my total, like, monthly expenditures down, because if I pay off one of them and I can stop using it, then I won't have that payment, because it's like, some of them are $70, $80, $100 a month, that I'm paying on them. So if I don't have that, then I can have that money to spend on something else. And then I want to try to buy a house. So I thought about trying to do this house hacking thing that a lot of people are doing, where you'll buy, like, a duplex or even a house and, like, make it and turn it into a split level, like top floor, bottom floor apartments. And then you live in one side and then you rent out the other side, and the rent pays for your mortgage. So basically you live there for free, just pay utilities, which is fine and dandy, but where I live, like this area, it's not that common to see duplexes, so that probably won't work. It'll be like once in a blue moon that a duplex will come up for sale. But where I used to live in Maryland, and it was a really older town, and they had, like, every house was a duplex. So it's just, like, different areas of the country are different, so it's kind of hard to do that here. Unless there are quite a few houses that are, like, they split the top floor and, like, have stairs that go up and make that an apartment, but I don't know. I would just feel weird, like, personally, having somebody, like, in my house, you know, because some people also, like, rent out a room in their house, but I'm not that kind of person that would want somebody else in my house. So, yeah. But, so what I'm going to do is buy a house and have that as, like, my home base, and then have room to spread out, because, like, right now I'm crammed in my room with all my stuff, and I don't have room to do anything really. Like, I want to sew. I'm trying to add like fabric sewn products to my store, and I don't have anywhere to put a sewing machine, so that's not going to work for a little while. But once, you know, and I would buy the house and, like, fix it up, because to stay within my budget, the house that I'm going to be able to get is going to have to be fixed up, at least for a while until my business gets started, because with my income now, with my job, it's not terrible, but it's not the greatest either. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to afford a big place, or even, like, one that's already been fixed up. Which there are some around here that are, like, livable, but they're just totally old, outdated, like, maybe need a bunch of stuff replaced. But wouldn't be, you know, a problem to just live there in the meantime while I, you know, can save up to get it renovated. So, and also I did put that on here, because when I made this, I wasn't sure if I was going to get an apartment or a house. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a house now, because the house payment is actually a lot less than rent. So, like, I've been looking at, like, 2 and 3 bedroom houses around here, and, like, a mortgage on, because they go for way less than $100,000. And the mortgage on one would be, like, between $300 and $450-ish. And if you were to rent a house that size, it would be well over $1,000. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna buy one. And, like, for first-time home buyers, there are grant programs and, like, zero-down mortgages, which would be fantastic. Like, you know, I wouldn't have 10% to save, to be able to save up 10% down right away. So, it's perfect. And then the next thing on here, I put decluttering, which I've kind of, like, slowly started doing that more, but I'm just so crowded in here that's hard. There's not room to declutter in. So I might have to do that closer to if/when I move. Then on here I did put pay off credit card, $1,000 down on my loan, and $1,000 in savings. So I'm hoping to exceed that quite a bit. I am working a lot of overtime right now. So... and then the next thing I put on here was to finish reading the New Testament. So I am on Corinthians, I think 1 Corinthians, so I'm not quite maybe halfway through the New Testament, so I might be able to do it, I'm not sure. And I did want to do monthly recap videos, so I was doing that for a while, but people weren't just that interested in them, and it was kind of just me, like, taking notes and then reading word for word what I wrote in the notes, so I hadn't figured out a way to make them interesting. And then I talked about my channel on here, so I wanted to regain my monetization, which, if you didn't know, YouTube changed the rules for whose channels can be monetized. So YouTube changed the rules for who can be monetized. So it used to be you had to have, I honestly don't remember, like, so many thousand views, and that was fine, and you'd be monetized. So my channel was monetized for a while. I didn't have ads before my videos. But then they changed the rules, and they gave people, like, 30 or 60 days, something like that, to be able to meet the new criteria, which was to have 1,000 subscribers and, like, so many thousand hours of watch time, not views. So, like, watch time is harder to, I think, to fake than views, because if you just sit there and refresh a page, it's going to bring out the views. But if you have to sit there and watch a video to increase the watch time. So my channel did get unmonetized. So, like, demonetized is like when when your video, like, you normally have monetization, but they turn off the ads on a specific video because they didn't like it, or because it was controversial, or whatever the case may be, and for no reason, apparently, like some people have been going through. But so I wanted to regain monetization this year. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I mean, anything's possible, you know. And I want to improve my content on here. Just, I feel like it was kind of all over the place, and I wanted to, like, hone in on it and just make it a little better. And then I wanted to get better at my skills, so better at doing makeup, better at taking pictures, doing the videos, and better at editing. I don't know, it's just kind of different for me because here recently I have been using my phone to film, because I don't have, like, my room is piled, like, this is the only place in my room that's not piled with stuff because my bed's here. So I used to film at my desk and have it pointing back this way, but if I sit, like, farther up at my desk, then it'll be pointing at everything that's sitting on the floor, and I would rather just do this, so it's fine. So that means I can't like I can use a regular camera, but I'm sitting, like the tripod is in the middle of the floor. It's not on the desk like it used to be. It used to be like right behind my desk. So my camera doesn't have a flip-up monitor, so I can't see what I'm doing. But my phone, if I'm filming with a front camera, then I can see myself. I'm actually looking at myself right now. And then my microphone has to be attached to a desk. It doesn't have its own tripod. It has to be like clamped onto a desk or a table of some sort, and there's nothing over here for me to do that with, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. Because, like, my phone without a microphone is fine. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But my camera without a microphone is terrible, so I have to use the microphone pretty much. And yeah, so I'm trying to get over that hurdle. Maybe I can work on that more after I get my own place and have like a dedicated, like, permanent filming setup. So there was everything that was on this. I left some space to add things, but I think I might just leave it for now and then like make a new one for next year. Or maybe I'll make a new one and make a video about it. I don't know. But there's where I am with everything. Yeah, the main new thing is just to buy at the house. I mean, it was already kind of on there. Oh, and back to the car thing, I forgot about that. So, I don't think I'm going to get a Challenger anymore. I mean, I would like to have one. But, my car is just fine, knock on wood. It's kind of old. It's like, 2011, it's 7 years old. And it's still, like, in pretty good condition. I'm not hard on it or anything. And I get the oil changed mostly regularly, like around the time that they say you're supposed to do it. So that's the main thing, though. Like, that's what makes cars last longer is like regular maintenance, oil changes and stuff. But ignoring the RV part, because I'm going to talk about that too in a second. But if I were to get a new car, I want a Tesla. And no, I guess they are expensive. Like, my car was only like $18,000, which I didn't pay for it, but, which I probably shouldn't even mention that because I feel bad, like I totally never expected my parents to buy me a car, but they did, so yeah, and so I would want to buy a Tesla if I got a new car. The problem with that is, it's a small problem, I mean, it's kind of a big problem to me, but the charging stations, so around where I live, where I live now, like, if I were to go out into town, which I'm not that far from town, but you know what I mean, like, I wouldn't be able to charge my car they have, like, so Teslas can be charged on regular electric chargers, like, for other types of electric cars, but it's not as efficient, and I think it's more expensive than if you use a Tesla dedicated charger. But the thing is, there's not any Tesla chargers here. There are some, I live in northern Kentucky, and there are some in Cincinnati, but that's kind of far away. So I went and crossed the river just to charge my car. I had to come back home if I needed to charge it. So, plus my grandparents and other family lives in eastern Kentucky, which is, I don't even think there are any, like, regular electric chargers there. So, but I did look at the map. Tesla is continuously adding new superchargers, and there is one about halfway, so I live in northern Kentucky. It's up here, like, in the state of Kentucky. And northern Kentucky's up here, there's Lexington down here, and then my grandparents live over here. And there is one in there's some in Lexington, of course, and then they're going to be putting one about halfway between Lexington and where my grandparents live. So it might work. Like, I would be able to go there, like, go to their house and straight back to that charger with, fairly no issue, I think. I don't know. But if I wanted to drive around anything, I wouldn't be able to, so. So maybe one of these days they'll add chargers there, but I just, like, nobody there has an electric car. It's not even, like, a thing. Like, nobody sells them there. So, unless I put a charger in at their house, which, I pay them, of course, because you just pay for that through your electric meter. So, I think that's how it works. But, yeah, so I wouldn't be able to visit them. I mean, I'd have to, like, maybe borrow or rent a car or something if I really had to, but because I wouldn't want two cars. Like, I'm one person, why would I need more than one car, I wouldn't keep an electric and a gas vehicle. It just wouldn't make sense. But most other places you can get to no problem without, you know, with the number of Tesla chargers that there are. So, but then that brings me to the RV. So, what I'm working on now, I do have a job, like a 9 to 5, but like retail is never 9 to 5. But, so what I'm trying to do is trying to become self-sufficient with my business and other projects that I'm working on, to where I don't need a 9 to 5 necessarily. So that's going to be a while before I can do that. But the thing is, I want to buy the house to where I would have my a dedicated office where I could work out of. And because that would be a lot easier than trying to work out of an RV. But then if I had the RV, actually, so I thought about buying, I'm all over the place in this video, but I was going to buy a big RV, like a fifth wheel or something, or like a Class A motorhome, which is like one of the ones that look like a tour bus. But those are expensive, and I don't know, if I had the house, I wouldn't need that big of an RV, because I wouldn't have everything with me. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have my, like, personal, like, you know, filing cabinet and, like, TV, everything in there. I would just have what I needed. So I could get by if I wanted to travel full-time, well, partly full-time. But I would just need a van, like a converted Sprinter van or something would be fine, because I wouldn't need all my stuff with me. I wouldn't need all my yarn and, you know, my sewing machine and stuff, so. Which I might even, like, halt that for a while. I don't know. I just want to do that before I, like, settle down, and, which, I don't ever want to settle down, though, that's the thing. You know, as much as I hate the process of physically moving house or whatever, like packing up stuff and unpacking it, I don't care for all that, but I like the like actually moving around and like not staying in the same place all the time. That's why that kind of like temporarily scratched the itch when I moved to Maryland, which I still don't know what possessed me to do that, but yeah, so I got to see a new part of the country that I'd never been to before, which I did go before I accepted the job. I did go and visit the place that I've been working at, and, but yeah, so I don't know if I would necessarily, like, pack up and move, like, completely permanently like that again, or if I would just, like, keep, because I've always lived in Kentucky, you know, when I grew up in eastern Kentucky, then now I moved up north, which people, if you're not from Kentucky, you're not going to understand that really, because, like, Kentucky, eastern Kentucky is a completely separate world from, like, northern Kentucky around Lexington, which is in the middle, and then, like, western Kentucky, which is, like, Bowling Green and all that stuff. They're totally separate. Like, they're not even, they might as well be different countries because they're so different. But, yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out, like, the logistics of everything, but number one priority right now is paying down my debt, because that is the most important, and also figuring out what the heck I'm going to do for a job, which I'm not planning on, like, quitting my job anytime soon. I just want to work at, seeing if I can sustain myself on my own before I quit that job, which is the responsible thing to do. So I'll just keep you updated, I guess, on what happens. If I do buy a house, you know, you'll see that eventually. And I already have some ideas of how I would, like, renovate, but it's probably going to be a while before I'm able to renovate, because at first I had to pay off the debt, then I had to buy the house, and then I have to save up to renovate. I really don't want to take out a loan. Like, that's the point of what I was going to just move out into the RV. I was going to pay off my debt, buy the RV in cash, and then be good to go. Like, all I would have is just the insurance on it, and, like, for phone service, internet, and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like my plans changed quite a bit, so I guess I'll let you know, if anything happens. Like, yeah, I have a lot of ideas and not a lot of, time and resources. Well, I do have a lot of time and resources, but I feel like I don't. So, I don't know. Anyways, give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was interesting. If you made it this far into the video of me rambling. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.